Derry says that human beings are not frank with him, they are not honest with him. Whenever they meet him, they hide their feeling, but still, he says that he understands what they have in their mind. He says that he can see what they think, and then Mr. Lamb asks him, "What do you think they think about you?" He says, "You think here is a boy, you look at me, and then you see my face, and you think that's bad, that's a terrible thing, that's the ugliest thing I ever saw. You think, poor boy, but I am not poor. Underneath, you are afraid. Anybody would be. I am. When I look in the mirror and see it, I am afraid of me." He said that I look ugly. What is the reason for his being ugly? That we will find a bit later. He said, I look ugly, and it's so ugly that it's terrible. When I look at the mirror, then I see myself, I become afraid of myself. So that is the fact. But what happens to other human beings, when they meet me, they hide this feeling and they pretend that there is nothing wrong with me. And what they think about me, I understand that when they see me, they say that this is a poor boy and his face is bad, it's a terrible thing, it's the ugliest thing I have ever seen. They think me poor, but I am not poor. In spite of my ugly face, I don't think I am poor, but it is these people who hide their feeling and they try to pretend that there is nothing wrong with me. In this way, they are not friendly with me. And this behavior of them made me apart from them, and this adds to my misery. Mr. Lamb then consoles him and he says, "No, not the whole of you, not of you. No, not the whole of you is miserable. A small part of your body, only a face is ugly, that's it. But the whole of you are not terrible, that's not the right thing." He says, "Yes." Then he pauses. Mr. Lamb says, "Later on, when it's a bit cooler, I'll get the ladder and a stick and pull down those crab apples. They are ripe for it. I make jelly. It's a good time of year, September. Look at them, orange and golden. That's magic fruit, I often say. But it's best picked and made into jelly. You could give me a hand." So, Mr. Lamb has changed the point. He has found that Derry has a lot of grievance against human beings. He has a lot of sadness in his mind. He is really very miserable. So this story of misery, this story of sadness should not be elaborated. Let us talk something positive. So he is telling Derry that when it becomes cooler, when the heat of the sun will become less, then I'll get a ladder and I'll get a stick and I'll pull down the crab apples. They are ripe. I'll make jelly from them. It's September, a month, and it is the best time for picking the apples. Their color is orange and golden. I call them magic fruit, and it's best for making jelly. And lastly, he said, "You could give me a hand. It means you can help me in making the in all these activities, picking the apples and making jelly. You can help them." By saying this, Mr. Lamb is trying to convince Derry that you are worthy. He thinks that if he says in this way, Derry will think, yes, an old man thinks that I am of some help to him. I can be his companion. I can be a part of his job. I can also help him. So Derry will have confidence. He will think that, yes, I am worthy. Unlike other people who always are showing their fear when they meet him, Derry in his whole life has not ever found any positive reaction from anyone. For the first time in his life, Mr. Lamb is trying to convince him that he is worthy, he is valuable. And Mr. Lamb has very judiciously, very intelligently, he has tried to stop those negative thoughts, stop talking on those negative things like his ugly face, etc. Because he knows that if he continues talking on them, it will only add to his misery. So he has changed the topic. And Derry, he also has experience and he knows these things. He asks him, "What have you changed the subject for? Why have you changed the subject? We were talking about my ugly face, how people react on it. We were talking on that. Suddenly you changed the topic, you started talking about apples and jelly, etc. Why this? This means that you are not having the courage to talk on my face because this is something terrible. That is it. This we also often do. When a small child is angry and he wants a thing, he is very adamant. He repeatedly asks his mother that he must have this, but the mother is not willing to give it. Mother may tell him some other story. We'll go to uncle's home. We'll do this. We'll go shopping. I'll take you for an outing. With these kind of words, the mother wants to change his focus of thought. She wants to shift his thought from one direction to the other. The same is the case Mr. Lamb did to Derry. But Derry is also smart enough to understand all these things. And he says, what have you changed the subject for? People always do that. Why don't you ask me? Why do you do what they all do and pretend it's not true and isn't there? In case I see you looking and mind and get upset, I'll tell you, don't ask me because you are afraid to. There he says, we were talking on a different thing about the ugliness of my face, but you have suddenly changed the topic. Why do you do this? This is what other people also do. You are doing the same thing. Why don't you continue talking on my face and don't ask me why I am like this? This is because, he says, I know it very well. This is because you think that if you look at me and you may become upset. That's why you don't ask it to me. And you don't ask me because you are afraid of asking. You are afraid of talking on such things. Mr. Lamb, he again speaks in a very normal way. He says, you want me to ask. Say so then. If you want me to ask what happened to you, why you are having an ugly face, then okay then, if you want to tell it, you tell. He then says, I don't like being with people, any people. That is his main statement. Then he says that my philosophy of life has become like this, that I don't want to be with human beings. With no human beings do I want to stay. Mr. Lamb says, I should say, to look at it, Mr. Lamb has got this situation very tough for him. He also couldn't find the appropriate word to reply to Derry's statement. So he is also fumbling. He says, I should say, to look at it, I should say, you got burned in a fire. So I think you have got your face burned in a fire. Derry says, not in a fire. I got acid all down that side of my face and it burned it all away. It ate my face up. It ate me up. And now it's like this. And it won't ever be any different. Derry said, not a fire. It was that acid fell on my face, and because of the fall of acid on one part of my face, it became like this. It burned away my face. It ate up my face. It has taken away the beauty of my face, the charm of my face, and I look like this, and there will be no difference. The whole life I'll have to live with this kind of face only. Mr. Lamb says, no. This no is actually a helpless reply. The reality is that Derry has a very ugly face, that this will never change. You will have to live the whole of life like this. It is true. Mr. Lamb has no proper answer to this. That's why he is saying no. It is just a casual reply, somehow to stop him. When you are telling something very serious and someone is not able to give a proper reply, and instead of giving a proper reply, he just says something like no, it means he is not serious about it. So Derry is asking Mr. Lamb, aren't you interested? I am saying something, some reality, the reality of my face, the reality of the miserable life that I am living, that there will be no change in my life anytime. And you are just saying no, it means you are not interested in my story. Mr. Lamb says, you are a boy who came into the garden. Plenty do. Plenty do means many other such boys come to my garden. I am interested in anybody, anything. There is nothing God made that doesn't interest me. Look over there, over beside the far wall. What can you see? What can you see? Mr. Lamb said that like you, many other people come to my garden and I am interested in anything and everybody. And whatever God has made, all things are valuable for me. I give value to everything. I am interested in everything. And to show that Mr. Lamb, in order to show that he has interest in everything, even in small things also, he gives value to everything and to everybody. He is asking Derry, look over there beside the wall. What can you see there? Derry says, rubbish. Rubbish means those thrown away things that are of no value, no use. People just throw it away. He says, I see rubbish. Mr. Lamb says, rubbish. Look, boy, look, what do you see? You see only rubbish. Look again. See, what do you see there? Terry says then just grass and stuff, weeds. I see grass and stuff, STUFF, stuff means other articles, other things, and weeds. Weeds means those unwanted grass, the grass that are of no, it is not there as a plant, it is of no value, it is just unwanted. So those unwanted grass I see grass, I see other things, that's it only. Mr. Lamb says, some call them weeds. If you like, then a weed garden, that's that. There is fruit and there are flowers and trees and herbs, all sorts. But over there, weeds. I grow weeds there. Why is one green growing plant called a weed and another flower? What is the difference? It's all life, growing, same as you and me. Mr. Lamb is giving a great philosophical lecture. He says that you can, if you call these things weed, you can say, but in my garden there is everything. There is grass, there is weed, there is herb, there is tree, there is flower. If you call these things weed, okay, it's a weed garden. For me, everything is equally important. Whether it is grass or wheat or fruit or flower, everything is important for me. And he says, why do people do it? Why do people call some plants weed and some other plants flower? What is the difference? They are all same. They are all plants. They are all having life. They are all growing. In the same way as you and I, two human beings. In the same way, they are also same. But why do people differentiate? Why do they call one kind of plant weed and the other kind of plant flower? Why is it? And the moment Mr. Lamb says, it's all life, growing, same as you and me, there he reacts. He reacts in his old traditional way. He says, we are not the same. What are you making comparison? I am having an ugly face, a burnt face, and people look at me, they are afraid of me, they react on my face. I can never become friendly with them. And you are not like me. How can you and I become same? Why are you saying like you and me? Why this? There he says, we are not the same. Mr. Lamb said, I am old, you are young. Yes, there is difference, I agree. I am old, you are young. You have got a burned face, I have got a thin leg. This is another truth about Mr. Lamb. Derry has a burned face, a physical deformity. Mr. Lamb also has a thin leg. His original leg was blown off. You will find it later. It was blown off in a war. So one leg of him is not original. He is having a thin leg instead of a natural leg. He also has a physical deformity. So Mr. Lamb is telling him that you have a burned face, I also have a thin leg. We have physical deformities, but still they are different. We are same in the sense that both of us are having deformities. We are different in the sense that your deformity is on the face, my deformity is on the leg. I am old, you are young. You have got a burned face, I have got a thin leg. Not important. He says these are not important. These are the differences that are unavoidable. You cannot avoid them. Then he says, you are standing there, I am sitting here, this is also a difference. If you just find difference, then this is also a difference, that somebody is standing, someone else is sitting. How can you make all the people sit together or all the people standing at the same time in order to establish equality? So this kind of difference is essential in human life. This kind of difference you cannot avoid. Some people will be standing, some people will be sitting, some will be having one difficulty, some will be having another difficulty, some will be young, some is old. These are essential differences. These differences should not be given priority. This is what Mr. Lamb wants to say. He says, where is the difference? Now Derry finds that Mr. Lamb's logic is also strong and he cannot refute it, he cannot speak against it. So he also now changes the topic. He now says, why have you got a thin leg? Mr. Lamb said, real one got blown off years back. My real leg was blown off many years ago. Lammy lamb, some kids say, small children, they tease me. When they see me, they tease me. How they tease? They say, lammy lamb, I am lame, I can't walk normally, so they call me lame man. And since my name is Lamb, they call me Lammy lame. Haven't you heard them? Haven't you heard these small children teasing me like this? Then Mr. Lamb says, you will, if you notice, if you pay attention, you will hear that these small children, they call me like this. You will, lammy lamb, it fits, doesn't trouble me. He says, and what they say in a teasing way, that lammy lamb, it's true. I am lame, so anyone will call me lame. It's not an issue, it's right. By this, Mr. Lamb is trying to convey the message to Derry that don't react to what people tell you. Don't often react. People call me lemmy lame, and small children tease me by saying lemmy lame, and when they say this, it is a truth. Why should I react then? Why should I be sad about it? So when people react to your burnt fish also, don't react. Take it for granted. Then Derry is saying nicely that in your case is different from mine, but you can put on trousers and cover it up and no one sees. They don't have to notice and stare. Your case is different. It is easier. It is more convenient because my case is my face is burnt. It is something visible. I cannot hide my face. But your case is with the leg. You can wear a trouser. You can hide your thin leg. No one can see. People are not there to stare, to look, and to minutely observe how your leg is. They don't do that. That's why your case is different. Your thing is easier. So in this way, their conversation continues, and Mr. Lamb is trying to convince Derry to have positivity in his mind, to remove all negativity. And if they do it, if anyone does this, then in spite of all the difficulties that one has, he can still live life happily. And their nice conversation will continue. The next part we'll find in the next video. Thank you very much for being with me.